My name is Anthony Toth, and we are actually sitting inside a vintage cockpit inside my production set. I'm the owner of Jet Age Prop Rental, and we're in a warehouse in City of Industry which contains the content of a vintage 747 set and cockpit.
I am basically a huge aviation nerd, and I also happen to shoot interiors, and for a while I've kind of been wanting to get a foot into shooting, aviation photography for commercial clients, and I just got sick of waiting around for someone to hire me. What I ended up doing was over like a year or so, I just kind of kept one ear to the ground, so to say, and I kept an eye open for cool aviation related places to shoot, and I stumbled upon Anthony's project here, and it was on like some British newspaper. I originally saw it, and I saw they made a little video about it, and I saw that, and I was like, that is what I have to shoot.
For me, the Pan Am brand was actually the most amazing brand of its time. The cabin decor, the look and feel of the flight attendants, the service on board, everything about the airline resonated with me more so than any other carrier. For me, Pan Am is the reason that we can, have flights to Europe and Asia, why there's jets today. They were the first airline to commission Boeing to build a 707. They designed and forced Boeing to build the 747, and it's my favorite aircraft of all time. So clearly Pan Am had a giant influence on my life.
So I originally came to Anthony, and we kind of put together like a storyboard for this shoot. We didn't want to just shoot it as it is. We wanted to kind of tell a story. If we're going to go through all of the trouble of finding models and extras and cast and crew and assistants, we wanted to really make something special. So our idea was to kind of create a narrative of a flight, as the daytime progressed into nighttime. When it comes to lighting this, it's a hell of a challenge. At first, I grossly underestimated the amount of light I would need. When I'm shooting a regular, a home, for example, for a design or something, I can pop one light out the window, send some sunlight in, and that'll be it. But what we had to do here was, basically, all of these windows had to be lit, but you can't hide a light anywhere. If you've ever been in a plane, it's so narrow, there's nowhere to hide a light, so all your light has to come from outside. So let's take a quick look at the lighting here. Out here we got two heads. We got a Pro Photo here and an Einstein there. This is a Pro Photo D1, and we're just blasting them in the window through this diffusion panel here. And if you walk up here, see if I can squeak in, or you can at least put the camera in there, and you can see it's the same thing, Einstein and Pro Photo. And on that side, white lighting on that side, and Einstein here, Einstein there, are doing the same thing, but with the bare reflector. The whole purpose of the diffusion panel is to get a nice, soft, even light through the cabin. The goal was really to recreate, if you're cruising along at 30,000 feet, we want to recreate that soft, natural light, but we wanted to give it some definition and some, a little bit of clarity. Here's the upper deck here. We'll go in through the cockpit door. And what we have here is a very professional solution. This is called the sandbag light stand, dangling the light over a spiral staircase. And this speed light here, it just gives a nice, pleasing, lighting effect coming down from above, which lets the eye kind of travel through the scene and cast interesting illumination on everything. So, pretty simple solution, but gives great light. Natural daylight in and of itself is a little bit messy, so when we, use those flashes, we could really aim the light just where we wanted it, get some nice, crisp, clean, soft light in here, and really kind of recreate the feel of flying along at 30,000 feet. And upstairs what we did was, again, we got a bunch of lights, put them outside the window, but no diffusion panel, and we blasted those lights in bare with some nice, rich, orange sunset tones coming in. So late afternoon, right before sunset kind of feel up there. If you've flown first class, you know that you're at the front of the plane, obviously, and behind you, or behind me rather right now, is what Pan Am called the Clipper class, and that was kind of like the first business class. Lighting this, the problem was that it's such a tight space. When you have no space to work in, it can get really tight. So the tripod's cramped up in a corner. We took a whole row of seats out. Lighting was relatively simple. That was just boom, lights out the window, and I had one light on the floor giving a little highlight on the blue carpet, and that was it. So that was just, three light sources in the windows, and that was it. Pretty simple setup, but complicated to get the right framing. As one of my friends who assisted on this, David Huff, he said, "You came this far, don't cut any corners." We had a huge crew here. I think we had 6 or 7 photography assistants. We had a video crew. We had 20 or so models, all either extras or flight attendants. I mean, there were so many working pieces that had to come together today to make that happen. First thing we did when we showed up, we had the photography crew come, and we had all the lighting set up from yesterday's Scout Day. So we were able to kind of solve any last minute problems. There were just so many things to pay attention to that I, my own self, could not have done. We had Julia Kuzmenko-McKim helping from F-Stoppers with the posing. We had Sarah also from F-Stoppers helping with the lighting and the posing. And we had lots of great input from a lot of friends of mine in the industry, which really helped make this shoot possible. Challenges in the first class cabin were many. As I mentioned, the amount of light that we needed. We had 8 lights, a couple of speed lights, and we had 6 mono lights or pack and head combinations. We had 1000-watt pro photos, and we had a bunch of Alien Bees, Einsteins, and White Lightnings, just blasting light at full power. And we were still at ISO 400 f8, and the shutter speed I think was like 1/10 of a second, and that was still not enough light. So lighting that is a problem. You gotta make sure you have even light across everyone's in the cabin. You gotta keep the light directional but diffuse. We're just trying to make it look like a plane in the air. I want to take a second to talk about the detail that went into the shoot. There's the Pan Am logo is stamped onto all the silverware. It is all original Pan Am silverware. The napkins are original. The peanut packages are original.
A friend of mine who worked in a giant warehouse in Chicago, Illinois, called me one day and said, "Anthony, we've got all this old Pan Am stuff and we're about to throw it out. If you want any of it, you better come get it." There were hundreds of Pan Am carts, dishes, glasses, pillows, blankets, headsets, just everything you can imagine from on board. It was probably one of the best finds of my entire life, because today, now that I have the actual 747 aircraft from Pan Am, I also have an enormous supply of everything that was inside the cabin at the time. And what it does is it actually just brings the whole experience to life. When Pan Am went away, I decided that I wanted to really sort of preserve some of its heritage and some of the incredible things that Pan Am had done for American aviation history.
Every little detail is completely 100% authentic to how it would have been when this plane was flying. As far as lighting the upstairs goes, again, that was a pretty big challenge. One of the things with the problems we faced was that the ceiling up there is so low. If you get in a 747, you realize that the main passenger compartment is a lot bigger than the upper deck. So you have a lot of space to put lights down here, and the windows are at about shoulder height or so. But upstairs on that tiny little in that lounge deck, the problem is the windows are at about knee to waist height. And so when you blast light in there, the light just skits across the floor. You don't really get, like a full light. So I ran out of scrim, so I'm using paper towel. We had, again, a combination of Alien Bees and Profoto. Outside each window, very specifically aimed at a certain person, just to create like a highlight, going across a magazine or someone's face or, someone's legs. And the light up there was very finicky. We were so close to the windows that just the slightest change would completely alter the light in the room. So that took probably a good 2 hours to light that shot up there. So that about wraps it up, and I hope you enjoyed the images, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And I'm so excited with how everything came out. I think I got some fantastic images. All the models were great. Everyone who worked on the shoot was amazing. But this, to use a terrible pun here, I'm not sure how else to phrase it. This would have never got off the ground if I didn't have such amazing help from so many people. All the guys who came down to help, a lot of them, gave 2 full days from 7 to 8:30 at night. Now we're doing this wrap-up video. Staying in hotels, coming from different parts. We get people from Moscow, Russia, people from San Francisco. So it was really a huge team effort, and honestly, it would not have been 1/10 as good if I was doing this on my own. So I want to thank all you guys who helped out. Aviation.
Oh my God.